Um, This is working with the Encyclopedia of Earth and the CAMEL portal on climate change education. I'm Andy Jorgensen, associated with the National Council for Science and Environment, but my day job is at the University of Toledo in the Department of Chemistry and Environmental Science. The two resources we're going to look at today, the first is Encyclopedia of Earth, and I've color-coded that green in the PowerPoint slides. It is a peer-reviewed online encyclopedia. It is freely available to the public. It is wiki-based. I'll show you what I mean by that if that's not familiar to you. It has over 7,000 items with 1,400 contributors. It's been around about 6 years. 16 content partners, including agencies of the federal government and others. It has articles, collections, curricula, e-books, videos, all sorts of things. Portals are the companion to it, including our CAMEL portal. It's a means to connect content to people, and you'll be able to do that on your own in your own dedicated site. The portals are dynamic and customizable. They easily integrate EOE articles and anything from CAMEL into the site you're creating. I'm going to show you how to do that. As I say, you can create your own portal, and actually both items allow you to post comments. Trinity is our software partner behind that. I got a comment asking people to mute your phones because there's some background noise there. CAMEL is a specific portal on climate change. If you're just tuning in, this is going to be a short PowerPoint, and then we'll actually go live to the site, and we will open up the phone lines for questions after a bit. You'll have plenty of time for questions. So about the Encyclopedia of Earth, it has over 7,000 articles, of which about 500 or 600 are on climate change. A key point about the Encyclopedia of Earth, it is peer-reviewed, as you'll see when we look at some articles. And in fact, every article that is published, will indicate who the peer reviewer is. They'll be listed as a topic editor, and you'll be able to check their information about them. There's lots of, oops. Can somebody mute a phone there? I heard something really loud. Extensive browsing and searching features, which I'll show you. And it can be accessed by everyone with no limits. This is the landing page of Encyclopedia of Earth. We'll go there live in a minute. On these slides, if you can see my mouse, I've put the URL I'm using at the very bottom of the page. So when you'll have access to these slides, so you won't need to remember any of these URLs. You'll be able to get to them. The CAMEL portal, what's available there is over 700. In fact, I just checked, it's 780 entries. About 60% are articles and 40% are educational resources. The ones from EOE are peer-reviewed, whereas the resources are live with just a modest review so people can put working documents up. There are the background articles and news links and links to other websites. There are syllabi, exercises that we'll go into detail when we look at that. These, of course, are also accessible to anyone, including your students. You can point your students to these things. After joining, you'll also be able to submit comments and questions on the modules. You can post an article, a video. All you need to do is be a member. I'll show you how to do that. There's no obligation and no cost. And there's a simple template to do this stuff. And you can create your own website. On your website, you can bring in anything from the EOE or CAMEL as a mirror. And if you want your website to be limited to only your students or your colleagues, you're in total control of that. Okay, this is the opening page of the CAMEL portal, and we'll go to it live in a few minutes. And as noted on the bottom, I have the URL of this page that I'm at, and it's a simple www.camelclimatechange.org. This is the one page, the CAMEL taxonomy. All 800 items are classified in one or typically more than one of these categories of causes, consequences, solutions, and actions, and then subcategories and subcategories. And this is only about 1/3 of the 200-item list. This is how one adds a resource on the CAMEL portal, and again, I'll demonstrate that. And as I say, you'll get this PowerPoint so you can get back to this page and know what the page is. These are some of our partners, the various universities and other organizations that are partners in the CAMEL project, which has been going on for 2.5 years. And this now we will go live to the various sites. So let me jump out of the PowerPoint and go to CAMEL homepage. Okay. Remember, there's a chat on the lower right if you want to type in a burning question, but we'll have plenty of time for questions in a little bit. So CAMEL stands for, the cute acronym, Climate Adaptation, Mitigation, and E-Learning. It's part of the National Council for Science and the Environment, and its subunit, the Council of Environmental Deans and Directors, 160 institutions, or perhaps yours, from around the country are members of that council. This is funded by National Science Foundation, a 3-year grant that runs through later this year, and one of our partners is the CAMEL website. Just a review, I'm not sure where it went back to, the various categories, data sets, simulations, field exercises, the search for a topic, but also you can use the taxonomy of proxy methods, etc. One of the first places to start perhaps is to watch this 5-minute video. We won't take the time right now, but you can get here, camelclimatechange.org, and watch the video. You can stop it, and she speaks a little more slowly than I do. The three typical steps, we're saying step 1 is to explore the taxonomy. If you saw the PowerPoint a few moments ago, you saw about 1/3 of the taxonomy, and as promised, here's the whole thing of about 200 topics, subtopics, subtopics. Okay, so that's another way to find things. Now, what I'm going to do now, and so to join the CAMEL community, if you have not joined, this is the link. Let me go back to show how I got here. I clicked on Join the CAMEL Community. And if you have not done so, I invite you to do so. There's no cost involved, just a username and password, email, that sort of thing. It'd be great if you don't mind if your username is your real name, but it doesn't have to be. And you need that capped stuff down here to put it in just to make sure it's not spam from someplace. In fact, at this point, we have about over 450 members, and it'd be really great if we could get to 500 because we're turning in our renewal application to NSF tomorrow. And what a wonderful rave if we could say we have 500 members on the community. So I invite you to do that. I'm going to show 2 exercises. One of them is adding a resource, which is step 3 here. And the resource is of various types. It's requiring me to log in. I was not logged in because I wanted to show you how it would look to you even if you're not logged in. I'll log myself in now because to add a resource you must be logged in. But if you're a member, you can log in at any time or not log in. Type in my password. And there we go. And here's the adding resource. This is a template from the Science Education Resource Center, and we're using their method. The resource can be one of several types, this whole list of them, okay? And I'll do a dummy one now just to show us what we're doing. Definition, field exercise, game, image, lab exercise, lecture. I'll click PowerPoint. Come up with a title. I'll just say test PowerPoint. Typing with only one hand because I got the cell phone in the other hand. INT. And then it's presumed I'm the author, but any other member could be an author. You can pick that out. You can put other co-authors. You indicate a grade level if that's reasonable. I'll just click on General Public. And if you don't want a particular grade level, like high school or college, you can do a range from starting from and ending to. And that's you'll see that in the search. People will be able to pick out what's there. And then how long it would take to work through this teaching resource. This is a template for teaching resource. You can pick different times, weeks, years. I don't know why they say seconds. I don't know. Okay, this will be a 10-second PowerPoint of it, just to humor things. And this is the Wiki version of how one does things, enters things. This is a test, and you can type text. You have font sizes and colors and highlight in the various things. And then you could also link items here. I'm going to do a link to my university just because I remember that URL very easily. And to do that, you highlight. And if this is not clear and you need more instruction later, I can provide that. We go to this link upload icon if you see in the middle of the screen. This is a way where you could link documents or URLs or lots of different things. I'm going to link to a website, my university's website, just because I can do it off the top of my head. Okay, and I'll say OK. And one can attach a series of files. They can be Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whole host of things. Only thing that's, and zip files if they're not too large. So most things can be entered. The next section now is the where we add various components of the lesson, and the ones with the red asterisk, as is the standard. These fields are required, but you can always delete them later. I'm just going to put the letter X in all of them just to keep the computer wizard happy. In our simple test, I don't want to make it complicated. I'll make it relatively quick here. But we like this format so that everyone sees can find in the same place, in order, a summary, the goals, the teaching notes. Teaching notes could say, make sure the students know this before you start that, or some other tips. References and resources, that's not absolutely required. Show the table of contents, which is typically done. And usually you don't click this. It says don't include user comments. We like user comments. And a short description, I'll just say test here. I will erase this article later. Okay. And down here, this is a key thing. We'd like you to document or to indicate where in the 200-item taxonomy your resource is going to be. So I'm going to click on Expand All. This is going to make a big shift, so I want to make sure you see what I'm doing. Our 4 causes, consequences, solutions, actions, and about CAMEL. I'm going to Expand All. And then, so we ask you to carefully indicate where your resource would be useful, okay? And I'll show you how that's it'll come up in searches, but it'll also come up in some icons. So I'm just randomly picking several of these just for variety. And I'll say Submit. Now, when you submit it, it's not instantly published. Mine, it turns out, is published because I'm a managing editor. I'm going to just put it pending so the public can't see it even in these few minutes. But Ginny, who's on the call, will check it and publish it, presuming it's nothing that's... Okay, I really don't think that's my phone that's doing the music. Somebody's got music in the background. Someone put us on hold. Okay, thank you. Could someone confirm that you can hear me again, please? I'd appreciate it. And thank you for being patient. Thanks. Thank you, Sam and Chris. Great. So as you see, we have the summary with the dummy letter X, goals, et cetera, and it picked me up as the author. And because when I joined, I put in a photo and a little information about myself. It also puts that in the bottom. And there's a comment box. So like if you're reading this article, you can put a comment. This was useful, this wasn't. We do get comments from people asking about pieces of information. And here are the icons. Remember, I randomly selected Gaia hypothesis, but that's interesting for this. Food security, N2O, fresh water, and precipitation, and there is the table of contents. Now, if one wants to, and oh, here's the link. Let's see if that link works. I'm going to click on Toledo, and sure enough, yes, I'm going to the university webpage. Okay, so I'll just go back. There we go. All right. And if you want to edit out this material, you just click on the Edit button, as obvious. And I'll take out all those dummy X's so we don't need those. Okay. Feel free. You can't break anything. Feel free to explore. All you have to do is be a member to have the access to do that. Okay. And there'll be just one little click to presume that it works. Okay, so that is how one enters a resource. To help that along, I've created a blog on using the CAMEL resources. I opened this up already. And this will be on there indefinitely. And as long as you're a member, you can you can add a comment. Okay, I'm going to have to log in here on this page because I opened it before I was logged in. As long as you stay logged in, you would need to do this a second time. And now here's the comment box for you to add questions and comments. And if you are not a member, there's a hot link to the Join CAMEL page that I showed you a moment ago. And then here's the PowerPoint that I showed you earlier in this talk. Okay, so if you get to the blog about using CAMEL resources, you can get that PowerPoint. Okay, I'm going to go back to the home page. And I realize I'm talking a lot. I'm going to do one more exercise, and it's a little involved. And then I'll open for questions. Okay, we'll still have plenty of time for questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new website, a new portal, just like you can do at no cost, and show you how you put material from CAMEL or the EOE into that site. And by the time we're done with this call, assuming you joined as a member, and that's a trivial process, you can generate a portal that you can use for your colleagues, for your students, for your work group. The place to start that is the Educator's Toolbox. I'll wait a second here while I hover. Educator's Toolbox, because the educator can make a website. Clicking on that, and you'll see, first you'll see a link to how-to videos. I'm just clicking on that to show you. There are a whole series of videos, 7 videos, as to how to do things with your website. In the process, I did 2 things. I wanted to click here, build a personal site and network. But there are other items here that I won't spend time on today. But for example, you can generate exams and surveys on your website. You can manage assignments. But let's create the website first. So I'm clicking on Build a Personal Site and Network. Okay. As a first pass, you have 3 graphics, 3 generic graphics to use. You can add other graphics later. You can take these off. Because I'm a chemist, I'm going to take the first one, and I'll do select. You can preview any of the 3. I'm going to select this design. And like all the computer companies require us to read long things and agree. And I'm a speed reader, so I read that whole thing and said that yes, I did. Website, I'm just going to say CAMEL test here. CAMEL, I'll call it CAMEL X because I've already got other CAMEL tests there. CAMEL, oh, I don't want to use X's, do I? CAMEL, March. Okay, CAMEL for March. And you put a URL here, and the URL cannot have punctuation, unfortunately. RCH. And now it says it's $49.95 a month, but don't worry, it does not cost you a dime, thanks to the NSF. All you do, you get these different deals on the web, at Amazon, type in certain letters. All the letters you have to type in are CAMEL, and there's no cost to you for as long as we're funded by NSF, okay? So you click on standard, but put CAMEL and there's no charge. And you're not going to put a credit card on here anyway, so don't worry about it. We would never find your bank account. Now, here's 2 key decisions. 1, do you want the site to be public, such that absolutely anybody can see it, or do you want to make it private, such that it's only viewed by those who you invite, which can be your students or your colleagues, or your students and your colleagues, and you can even have other ups on one website for your colleagues, one from your student. So for right now, I'll make this a public site, just for the heck of it, but I'm going to get rid of it after a little while. Okay, now here's a very important. If you make it public, we urge you to click on this link, which automatically approve LCP requests. LCP is live cross-publishing, and I'll demonstrate that to you as like my last exercise of the day. This is that if somebody likes what they see on your site, you're giving them permission to mirror it, not to control it, not to change it, but to mirror it on their site, okay? And so we invite you to do that. If it's a private site, not a big deal, but if it's a public site, we ask you to. You don't have to do that. If you don't do that, then you'll get requests if somebody wants to use your page, but we're saying automatically. So I'm going to submit it. And then we see what we have, and then we'll do one little task, and so within 5 minutes, we'll open up to questions. Okay, here's the new website, and congratulations, this is the self-esteem generation. Congratulations, you successfully started your website. What would you like to do next? You can add content, you can make a topic tree, you can invite others. I'm going to close this, and you can click on any of those, and that would work, but I'm going to close it and do these things manually. as you see, there is the creative topic titles of creative topic 1, 2, and 3. The first thing I'm going to do is put something more reasonable in there for a title. And the way I do it, and you want to watch closely, is my mouse goes down to the lower left, okay, and goes to the second icon on the gray line. Remember, this is being recorded. Go to Website Options, click there, and I'm going to edit the site directory. I do this pretty slowly here. Okay, edit site directory. And here it's got the topics 3, 2, 1. I don't know why it's reverse order. And because to edit the topic is this little pad of paper with a pencil, I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to give it change it from topic 3. I'm going to put the word water in there just randomly. Okay. And you could put an image related to that topic. You can write some text related to the topic, but I'm just going to put the word topic just for simplicity and say subject. I'm sorry, submit, not subject, subject. Submit, and you'll see now when we have the taxonomy. Okay, let me find how I get back to that page. Okay, this was changed recently, and I'm seeing how I get back to. Okay, one way I can do is go to my dashboard, and on your dashboard we'll have just a few items. Mine has a lot of things. This is this is CAMEL March is my website. I've got 28 websites, so you can go to your dashboard always and find what your websites are. So here it is, and you'll notice the word water is here. The topic has been changed. Now, let me see, I want to put an article. Let me go to water. And right now, of course, there's nothing there, and I can either create an article, I can create a topic, I can do lots of things right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Encyclopedia of Earth. I have that page open. It's just eoearth.org. I'm going to use water to search here. What might be on the Encyclopedia of Earth that is about water? And I'm sure there'll be hundreds and hundreds of articles, and I'll just, in fact, 4,782, so more than hundreds. I'll click on this randomly here. I didn't test all these details ahead. This is an article about the Clean Water Act in the United States. And I'm going to do what's called cross-publishing, as I talked about before. Here you go to the first icon on the gray, the live cross-publishing options. And you say you want to cross-publish this article. And where do you want it to go? Well, as I said, I have 18 web pages, so I'm going to do CAMEL March. That's the one we just created. Put it there. Give it a second, and it says, do I want it underwater, topic 2, or topic 1? Well, of course, I want it underwater. I'll say that. Add content to your topic tree. Okay. Okay. So now let's go back to my website. Okay. And here's the website, and you could edit the picture and edit the title and do all sorts of things. Let me go underwater, okay, and click on articles. And there's that article that just came right from the Encyclopedia of Earth. It's now here in this website we just generated in the past 10 minutes. And if the author of this makes a change to it, all right, when you open this up in your site, you'll see the new version of it. Okay, it will be updated. So you're not really adjusting this. You're mirroring it from the other site. Okay. So I'm quickly coming to a close here. So be ready with your questions. I'm going back to the CAMEL homepage. And now, Ginny, if I don't know if people may be unmuted. You're welcome to ask a question. Just be a little patient. There are 43 of you on the call. Happy to try to answer any questions you might have. You can put them in the chat box, or you can, and if you're not asking a question, please keep your phone on mute, *6, so the background noise. Someone want to ask a general question just to make sure the system is working?
I have a question.
Yes, Andy, this is Jenny. Did you show the topic index, or did I miss that?
Yes, I did. I showed the topic index. I think somebody else was asking a question. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Don't stand like a creeper over there.
I'm sorry, I heard some static with your question. I heard one word, but I didn't hear a question. Yes, you can ask questions on the chat, someone is asking. Yes, absolutely. I'm monitoring that all the time. The question from Sam is primarily K through 12 or college level? It is primarily college level. It's advanced high school, but the primary aim is early college, beginning college. Good questions. Thank you. Other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
If something you've linked to is updated, are you told that it's been updated? Or you just...
No, you are not. No, it is because you're just mirroring what's on the page. So if you went to that page just from web search, you'd be looking at the new one too, because only the new one would be available. I will say they're not changed real significantly. Typically, once they're published, they're in good shape. Now, if it's one of the other resources in CAMEL and it's a live resource that people are working on and submitting comments to and adding articles, then it might change. But if it's the Encyclopedia of Earth, that doesn't change very much. But things from CAMEL, we want this to be live community. It might, but no, you do not get a notice that it is changed. Not yet, but. By the way, while I'm waiting for the questions, you're going to get an email with a survey about this webinar. You're welcome to put the technical problem so we can rave to WebEx about it. And we'll see what these continue each Tuesday afternoon. I'm hearing something, but I'm not making out a question. Okay, from Crystal, why is this primarily directed to incoming undergrads? I think that the inquiry emphasis that this collection will be a great resource for high school teachers to tap into as well. Oh, of course, high school teachers can use it, but there are other sites. There are more resources aimed at K through 12 than college. Anyone is welcome, absolutely welcome. For example, the first 20 climate change education grants that NASA gave, 15 were pre-college and only 5 were college. So we're filling a need that we don't think many other places fill. But absolutely, K through 12 teachers, particularly high school teachers, this would be very useful for high school. And as you see, several of the articles are marked for high school. Other questions, either by chat or calling in?
I have another question. I don't
yes.
see a chat place on my screen.
Okay, do you see up at the top? Do you see my screen?
I see viewing Andy Jorgensen's desktop.
Okay, and if you go to the very top, do you see a bar?
National Senate, yep.
See the drop down, and then you see the chat? You're seeing it now?
I see it now, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, in general, it's off just to not be there. Okay, other than being able to develop a website with the Trinity site, what are the benefits of developing an individual web page? Well, so you can control it, for example. So you'd have only your own students in it or a group, and you may want to create something that's tentative, and you're working on it for a while, and then you'd release it more broadly. I think the largest or the most useful means of doing that is if you wanted to create your own space in which you're pulling in a few dozen things from EOE, a few dozen from CAMEL, and that's your workspace for whatever you're doing. But there's no need to create your own website. All this material will be there. And remember that web page can be public or private, and it can start out private, and then you can make it public. Question, can you link to articles and resources outside of CAMEL? Not in the same way. You can link by just putting in their URL. You saw that I put the URL to my university. You can link URLs around, any place. But in terms of having an article show up in the middle, like this is showing up within, let's see, where was that? Here. There. I think I closed that site where I created my website and put something in there. So if you want to write in your link right in your website, it has to be from EOE or CAMEL. You're welcome, Julie. Other questions? There's still a lot of noise there. So it's like somebody's really walking around. And can you put *6 on your phone, please? I may not sound loud to you, but it is to the rest of us. Okay, Matthew's asking, can we design climate-focused college course curriculums using CAMEL? Absolutely, and we'd encourage that. And if we went here to the Educator's Toolbox, I'm going to go back and click on that, you can create exams and surveys. Now, these are useful, particularly for surveys. Exams, if I were giving a grade in a course, I wouldn't put a graded item on here unless, of course, it's a private site. And then you got to decide what level of security is appropriate for your institution. But absolutely, we'd be interested in you putting a curriculum. And for example, if you're using Moodle or Blackboard and you want to have a link in them over to your curriculum on CAMEL, on your site, absolutely. Tech question, your desktop view is small and unfocused. What is expected? I don't know. Do others see it small? It's filling my screen. Let's see if there's another thing I can do to make it larger. No? Someone else give me a clue as to how to make this large. If it's not large, I think you can adjust the size on your screen. Of course, everybody's hearing an echo right now for some reason. Oh, the echo just stopped.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can maximize the window. It looks great to me. Oh, so the person who's I've maximized, my window is maximized. I've just
yeah, no, I have it maximized. Oh, something just changed. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
there.
well, I unmaximized it, then maximized it again.
Okay. All right. It's maximized, but I have just a strip across the middle, and I can't read it except for the large heading. So,
okay. Well, fortunately, you'll be able to research it on your own. And on the PowerPoint is my email, so send me an email if you have a question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Is this site moderated to prevent hacking? Yes, it is. So if you generate something, it does not automatically go up live. I think a comment goes up live, and we do kind of check that out, but the comments are not filtered. But if you create an article, a resource, it is reviewed briefly by Ginny. It's not edited, but it's reviewed briefly by Ginny to make sure it's not inappropriate. Yes, there is a moderation in there. Good question. Thank you. We've had very little problem with the comments. I mean, occasionally we get invited to start a new social relationship with somebody that we decide not to accept. But other than that, most of the comments have been very useful and professional comments. Who owns the uploaded material? Well, we've got to be very cautious about copyright. Hardly anything on here is copyrighted, and that's the way we like to keep it. A large fraction of it's from the federal government or individual creates, such as on the Encyclopedia of Earth. And you can pull it down. You can delete it at some point in the future if you like. The review process for items to the site, if it's on CAMEL, it is just briefly reviewed to make sure it's not hacking or totally inappropriate. If it's on the Encyclopedia of Earth, where the background articles are, and they're mirrored on CAMEL, they are reviewed by a topic editor. So I do the ones in environmental chemistry, for example, and nothing gets published on the Encyclopedia of Earth unless the topic editor approves it. But if it's on CAMEL, it's just briefly reviewed. 'Cause, 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 'c Any last questions? And to remind you, you're going to get a survey. We appreciate the reply. You're welcome to talk about the technical problems. We've got to work on that. You're welcome, Sherry. So technology has some pluses, but it has some limitations. And for next week, we'll look to see how to do this on the web, so you don't need a phone for an hour. Judy, do we know if this is a no-cost line for long distance?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay, good. That's what I thought. Any last questions?
Thank you for a clear explanation.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on, and thank you all for your patience. The question about the presentation, yes, if you go to the blog site, or if you just send me an email, I'll be happy to send you the PowerPoint. Yes, register for each section each week separately. Yes, please, because there's a different login for each one of them. You're welcome, Bjorn. Thanks for being here. So to register for each of the sites, you register for the weekly webinars, and we have a great lineup here coming next week. David Kitchen has done just wonderful work, starting with the NASA grant. He's got 5 or 6 modules up. Arnold Bloom is one of our content experts on a botanist. Kevin Spiegel from Unity College uses several things on here that he's created. Tricia Munster is one of the most popular, co-author with David Hospenzel of one of our most popular modules, Climate Change Impacts on the Colorado River. And as you see here, you can actually check out these modules when it's given. Sometimes they're broader, to see whether you'd be interested in that or not. And so you could do a little preview of the module before the actual presentation. Okay, you're welcome, Matthew. You're welcome. I'll stay on another minute or two if anybody has any questions. Is there a list of participants for a particular webinar? Would it be useful for identifying collaborators in various specializations? We do have a list of participants. I guess I wonder whether it is appropriate to share that list, though. We didn't warn people that we would. So I'm thinking we probably should not share that. I guess we can add in the future.
No, it was my arms a little.
Okay, I'm hearing somebody talk about their arm. Could you use *6 to mute your phone? Yes, to go to the blog. Let's see. Okay, let me go to here, and let's see if I can find it by searching on the word blog. Okay, no, well, for now, the way to find the blog, because it's not through the registering system yet, if you go up to climatechange.org and /resources, and that's going to give you a chronological list of the resources. Oops, I guess I misspelled the word resources. Okay. Could somebody mute their phone? We're hearing the whole conversation going on out there.
Right.
Did she say she was going to be out today?
Okay, if you can hear in between that loud conversation, if you go to resources, it turns out it's pointed today the blog about CAMEL resources. And you can make comment, and here's the presentation. If you click on it, you'll get the presentation. Simple PowerPoint. Okay? Yeah, I guess you should mute everybody.
Andy, this is Jenny. Because today's webinar was so interrupted with the audio problem, would you point out the 5-minute video on the site for those who might want to go back and take the video that might be helpful?
Great.
Thank you.
Great, I'll do that. Good idea. Okay, going back to CAMEL, the homepage of CAMEL, CAMELclimatechange.org. Right here is the 5-minute video. And this will, and by the way, you can upload anything from YouTube.
And unique online resource for educators.
And she's got, it's Mariah. She has a nice, pleasant voice there, and it's just under 5 minutes, so you can see a great review of what's on here. Okay. I'll still monitor the chat box for a while, even though I trust all the phones are muted now and we're not listening to that private conversation. Okay. Last questions. Give you another minute or so here before it hits 4 o'clock. Thank you for everyone's patience. If you're still on, that's good. That's good. Okay, well, thank you again, and please do reply to the survey. And you're very welcome to complain about the technology. And we'll beat WebEx over the head with that if that's where the problem is. But as you heard, it might have been my phone, although I've never had that problem. Thanks to all. Goodbye.